I'd like to talk about psychology of space and how you can use it to enhance your writing. Think of a scene or chapter where the most compelling part of the story is the location. It's the excitement of being there. One that I can think of is in Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles. The humans land on Mars and they realize that there are cities of an alien race who have died out centuries before. And when they go into these cities, it's very haunting and mysterious and intriguing. And a very compelling part of the story is just the place. Now I'll ask you, what are the places in your life, the places that you return to, that you like to go to? And what is it about those locations that keep bringing you back? Are there places that you like to go to just there's something compelling about just being there? If you're working on different projects, kind of think about one story that you'd like to use to consider these ideas. Now, the location, if you think about changing and trying out different locations and seeing how it can work with the story, the thing about a location, if it's a really excellent location, really a work of fiction, if the location itself is strong enough, it doesn't need plot, it doesn't need great characters, the other things that often carry a story. The location itself can carry the story. It can be a location in space, it can also be a location in time. Now, I've known people who are intrigued by an era of time. You know, it could be 200 AD, any time period. And the thing is we love to go to locations just to be there. And as storytellers, as writers, we can take our reader to these locations. This is where you want to be a world explorer. You want to open your eyes to what are the potential of a great location that you run across. Wherever you go, take photographs, write down names of places, keep a journal, you know, or journal about psychology of spaces, and you can do entries about, you know, oh, when I walked down, you know, the stairs, there was one alcove here, and you could, you know, you could look down on the street and look down at the heads of the people walking down the street, and deconstruct what it is about these places that compel us, that intrigue us, that we identify with. Sometimes places we like them because they resemble the dreamscape, the kind of the regions within the subconscious. So if you have a place where, you know, I know I have these dreams where, you know, it looks like a small building, but it just keeps on expanding. It opens out, and, you know, you realize there's another corridor that leads to more doors, and you're going further underground. This is just an example. There's no end to why a space, a location can be intriguing and compelling to us. So it's a matter of our own world. As creative people, we become world explorers in this way. We look around our own real-world environment and look for the potential of what it is about these spaces that make us want to go there. Because our job as storytellers is to transport people. This is the way that storytelling is the first ever virtual reality. What we're trying to do is we're trying to allow people to leave their real lives and go to these virtual lives where they can go to these imagined places and just enjoy the poetry of this location. And by my writing about my main character being there, I can bring my readers to that location. A lot of times when we're inspired, when we have the kernel of a story, when we have like the preformed story, when we get this idea and it hasn't yet become a story, but we're thinking about it, and we're like interested in seeing if it will turn into a story. What it is the story in essence is just a location. And so to recognize that and reach out and grab hold of it and start working with it and do what you can to work with it creatively and turn it into a story. So what happens often is that we go somewhere, and then later on something about that location is still in our mind and still intriguing to us, and we find ourselves, thinking of a story, and we could over-exaggerate something that we liked about that location. Now what happens now, there's a big theme in a lot of fiction about the world population all dying out, all of a sudden the cities are empty or something like that. And part of it is it's intriguing to be in a place that's usually very public when it's very empty, where all of a sudden we're the only one there. There's something very intriguing about that. So that is what I'm describing as a location, but what I'm also describing is the kernel of a story, because then it causes you to wonder, well, where is everyone? Well, what happened? What is going to happen? Look for those. Look for those times when you're intrigued by where you've been, or you find yourself just dreaming of a location. Could be magical, could be mysterious, could be picturesque, could be exciting, and make sure to journal about it, talk about it, think about it, do audio recordings about it. Ideally, a fictional location is one that the reader really would like to go to and really would like to return to and enjoy just being there. You can create a location with a specific objective of enhancing whatever feeling you're trying to give the reader. If it's a thriller, look at what it is about the location that can create more fear about what will happen. You could have the floor is rotted and about to fall apart, or think about the ways you can affect the reader's mood. There are many stories where they make it a very hot day, like Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, to affect the overall mood of the story. Would the story Cat on a Hot Tin Roof be the same if it took place on the North Pole with very cold weather? So if you're telling a story about two characters arguing and going along, then you can go back and say, well, what if I put them in a really cramped location? What if I have them arguing in a room that is, just in a narrow hallway? Then while the reader is they're reading the same story, but subconsciously they also feel cramped and like they want to explode, they want to get out. So if you have a story where the main character is fighting all these different characters and the whole time standing in 4-inch water, so the character's shoes are soaking wet, and it doesn't change the story, but when they win out, when they're the last survivor, they're able to step up onto a dry platform. So you've enhanced that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of winning. When I talk about influencing the reader's subconscious, this is not about pulling one over on the reader. This is not about tricking the reader. If the reader is aware that stepping up on the platform increases the feeling of winning, that's just fine. I'm just working with the fact that great stories work on many different levels, and most of those subconscious, and by working with that and enhancing that. We become better writers. We're not trying to subliminally affect and hypnotize readers, but we want to write as much to their subconscious mind as to their conscious mind. There are a lot of writers that through the act of writing travel to these virtual places and are explorers and creators of these virtual places. Through practice, we increasingly gain the ability to transport ourselves by writing. When sitting down to write, we can go to that other virtual world, and there's something about the practice of working it out in writing that through the act of putting it down in words, our imaginations are ignited to make those imagined places seem very real to us. When you've found and made clear in your mind locations that you find interesting, you'll be more interested in writing about them and developing them and making them more real for your reader, and that interest will carry over to the reader. If you aim for storytelling magic, take the time to develop your own theories about the psychology of space. Many times it's just one element added or changed about a location can really bring it to life. Thanks for watching. If you have a little bit of extra time, please check out the illustrated story I'm working on at solomation.com. And please hit the like button, leave a comment if you have any ideas that you think would contribute to this video that other viewers might want to read, and subscribe, and I hope your writing goes very well. Have a good day.